Hey, the Rulers Demos 7-3 here, and it's time to take a look again at Astema Beatrice with Settle the Score. Let's jump right in. This session brought to you by Odyssey Games for pre-orders and sealed product, CCG Prime for tons of singles and supplies, Cardo Doko for international rulers looking for products, and FowlLibrary.com for articles and wonderful deck lists, as well as our guest lecturer members King Pearlshine, Vite Ramen, Mognite, and Darren Noblock. Class is in session. So this is the list, but before we get into it, just a reminder that Odyssey Games has pre-orders for Crimson Moon Battleground available right now in the link in the description. Go ahead and check it out and get your pre-orders in. So, settle the score. Astema Beatrice has been an idea that a lot of people have had because of Inferno equalizing things, and we've had a lot of different ways to get down to 0 cards or whatever, and also, some ways to turn off Astema, but we really have gotten a lot of cool tools lately to be able to make the deck happen more consistently, as well as give it multiple paths to settling the score. So obviously, we are trying to resolve Inferno. That is the whole kind of gimmick, as we want to have 0 cards in our hand, force our opponent to have 0 cards, and then just kind of stay above them for the rest of the game. So the new tools we really got for this deck being End of the Undefeated Legend, Dexia's Advice, Predator with Divine Lightning, and Persephone. These are the cards that to me really have kind of helped shore up the deck in terms of giving it something that makes sense as a win condition after you've resolved the Inferno. So the whole idea is we're using Phantasmal Ascendant to be able to ramp stones into the combo early, and also playing things like Duet of Darkness and other things like Revenant and Sealed One-Eyed Dragon to give us other outs to establish pressure once we've equalized the game out, as well as having wonderful things like Divine Lightning and Gradius to be able to turn off Astema, particularly that Divine Lightning can turn off Astema when she's still a ruler, so we don't have to worry about flipping her and then finding a way to kill something. Now the biggest card here is End of the Undefeated Legend. This is a card that we discard our whole hand, destroy everything on both sides of the field, set both lives to 2,000, and at the next end of turn you draw 3 cards. Now with Beatrice, we'll be at 0 cards, so that'll trigger her null ability, and then we'll draw a card, so we can play Undefeated Legend, clear everything out, and then draw 4 cards at the end of the turn. And the fact that we can search off Astema, Inferno off of Astema, means that discarding our whole hand to End of the Undefeated Legend doesn't really hurt us, and usually we're going to be producing some extra will thanks to Astema by killing something with End of the Undefeated. This also means that playing things like Sealed One-Eyed and Magic Stone of Moonshade don't really matter to us as much, because we're going to be setting our own life to 2,000 anyway, so that first 2,000 life is just free real estate. So that is the deck at this point in time, so let's just kind of go through the lists. 3 Inferno, 4 Gradius, 4 End of the Undefeated Legend, 4 Phantasmal Ascendant, 2 Voice from the Void. This is a wonderful card for some draw power, as well as because it has null, you can play it without paying its cost. So you can do a really cute thing where if you get one of these in graveyard off of Undefeated Legend, you can just go, cool, trigger at the end of turn End of the Undefeated Legend, trigger at the end of turn null to draw a card, use the Remnant Voice from the Void from the graveyard to draw a card without paying its cost. Suddenly I have 5 cards in my hand. Or if I have 2 of them, 6 cards in my hand. Lots of crazy things you can do. Of course, we're playing the wonderful Wall of Terror as another way to get ourselves down to 0 cards immediately, which is very, very nice. Sealed One-Eyed Dragon, Duet of Darkness, because it's very possible to get all 3 modes, but also just buying back things like Revenants, or setting our opponent down to 0 cards, or clearing the board because we're playing a bunch of unique stones. There's lots of good value to be had there. Like I said, Divine Lightning is wonderful for being able to have a little bit more interaction, as well as turn off our Astema. Revenant is a wonderful card just to kind of be the beater of the deck after we've done the combo, which I'll kind of explain how we get to Revenant easily the later we go. 3 copies of Kilo, a Fossil Girl in the City for some wonderful additional control of the board, as well as being able to kind of cycle this even if we're doing the Pop-It Edition mode, thanks to Astema. 3 copies of Dexia's Advice, and 2 copies of Persephone just for some additional protection and setup after we go into the combo. Now, the biggest kind of best line to kind of leave you on here is after you successfully pulled off the combo, you really want to try to find a Dexia's Advice as fast as possible, and then cast it, grabbing yourself a Revenant and a Wall of Terror, because Wall of Terror can protect Revenant from the stuff that he doesn't have barrier from, which is things like Moon Children or, spot removal from Resonators. And then Revenant himself, we have a bunch of unique cards, and we can sack off stones to be able to serve as additional spot removal, all while getting very, very large and then just swinging in for a ton of damage and setting ourselves back up to a higher life total since we spent the time setting ourselves down to 2000. So overall, this is a very fun deck. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to revisit this combination and feel like I had a consistent version of the deck that felt like it had some staying power. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. And until next time, this is DMO73 saying, class dismissed.